that would be great. They'd love that, because we're a hiking system. That's what most people do.
What about swimming for the public? And
Swimming for the
boating and
public.
fishing?
So what if you put a second pier over here? Just a thought. Just trying to come up with something. I'm not trying to take away anything you have. I'm trying to add to it. Yes,
My
ma'am.
thought would be, if you could add enough facility that could be used year-round,
Ah,
you could rent it year-round.
yep.
And
So these cabins here, which have no heat, no air conditioning.
we understand that, and you can't touch that.
Well, that's not true.
Well,
We can't change the exterior. That doesn't mean we can't put heat and air conditioning.
Okay, then.
So that's a thought.
Then you could rent it more than the month of June and
Right.
July. You could
Right.
rent it other times. If we had a meeting hall, conference center, it could be used for retreats and other things other than youth camp per se, that would be flexible more so and bring in more revenue. Now, saying that, I wouldn't want the, public, the conference center, whatever, to be for the public access. What I'm saying is something that could be rented as the cabins are being rented, that could be used that way.
We'd have to subsidize the cost in our rentals, of course.
Of course, and,
Whereas this room is rentable. And it's,
Yes.
what is it, $79? $78, so that's,
but it's still a small
it
facility.
is a small. How many kids y'all bring?
Well, we had 92 registered last year.
And we have had up to 140.
40 something, yeah.
So 140, that's the full board, well, you can't bring any more bodies.
But
than that.
we rent some motels if we need them, so that we can bring them
Motel rooms
in.
from Silver Sands.
Yeah, okay.
But if you had your public access outside of the camp area itself, and like you say, put in another pier, put in another access back here somewhere. But then you have, say, a conference center, or a meeting hall, or something down here.
It would be a lot easier for me to sell something like that if I could show we would create enough revenue from it. You know, and so that's a possibility.
If you can put the heat and air in these, and you can put a meeting hall where people could actually break into a couple of classes,
How about an open air picnic shelter that would be big enough for 140?
that would be,
Yeah, that'd be great.
that would be great.
there
But
a place
what
to
I'm
do that?
thinking, if you did something where you could use it year round, would be even better.
Yeah, well, that's true. I understand. Although, we are here in the southern part of the state, it's warmer. It's 77 degrees today!
That's supposed to snow on Sunday.
Isn't that something?
But in August, it ain't 77.
No, it's not.
107.
Sure enough, sure enough.
I think
Okay, so that's
Barbara's
not
had a
good.
question for a while, our arms getting tired.
Right now, when there is nobody using Loblolly or Epitaph, the gates are open
Right.
for day visitors to come in and do their hiking or whatever. But if somebody is in here, then they're not allowed past that gate up there.
That's correct.
And that's what we like.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, that effectively rents the park.
53%.
This part of the
Now,
park.
how would a day visitor know whether the park was open or not? Is it on the website, Old Campus Use?
So what do you do, Kristen? Do you update the website?
We don't update it every single day, no.
Because right now it says,
It
what?
just says to contact the park office.
Because if you want
Restricted,
people
correct.
to come, you have to be open.
Well, typically, once they drive in, if the gate's closed, they're just gonna come to the office.
Well, you know, as has been pointed
If
out,
it's open, they
we
just
have
drive
a
right
long tradition here, right? 1939, we've been running this place pretty much the same way we are now. So it will take a while before people were to even have enough confidence that it'll be open for them to actually show up. But
I think you had a question, and then I'll get to yours.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
I was wondering, you keep talking about people wanting to come in and see the facility when someone's here. Why can't they make an appointment with the office and get someone to be there to escort them by some?
Well, that idea has been brought forth. And that's really what happens now.
That's typically.
That is what's happening now.
But how often does that really?
Well, again, if nobody's been allowed in here except people who are renting the place since 1939, why would they think about doing that unless you know, a concerted effort is made to educate them.
Well, can there be some ways to do that? I mean, it does, I guess, I hear that, and I appreciate that as one of your concerns, but I wonder, is just opening the gate gonna be a way to do that? I mean, it doesn't seem that if people aren't coming now, how is just opening the gate gonna send the message?
Oh, well, we wouldn't just do that. I mean, we would.
Right, there'd be some
We
other
would
ways
take down the
to
thing
let-
that said,
Yeah.
you know, but what we would probably say is, these are the areas that are open to the public,
And one of the things we do in our,
which is different than the camps.
When the camp is rented.
Right.
I guess I don't, how would you enforce that, you know? I mean, if I'm
You
gonna
see,
say,
we already do.
she would
this.
enforce it.
Yeah, and we already do this at our other parks. We have camping areas in every park, and when you go into a camping area, it says registered guests only,
That's right.
registered campers only, registered, and here, obviously, registered camp users only. You know, we would post those signs. We make our own signs now. We can get signs turned out pretty quick. So, you know, if that were to happen, and honestly, you know, when somebody's got one camp rented and the other one's vacant, you know, that would be a great way to show this being used, and we could walk them in the camp that's vacant, and we could say, look, this group's having a great time, you know, so.
The fact that we can actually have two different groups renting the two different camps kind of means we've already passed through this concept that the whole park is being rented, because they're different groups.
Well, we used to do that. We used to rent this one and somebody rented that one.
Right.
But then we started renting the whole facility. And, you know, we pay for the whole facility and.
At the best price in town, boy.
Yes, sir.
And,
You know, we think there are people that are renting it for a week, but they've created a secondary market and they're actually subletting out their spaces.
oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well, that's not right.
Now,
Well, now-
well, I don't know how you control it though, right?
You know,
But that does
think-
say that it's worth it.
I don't think any of us would even object to you know, even a little increase in the rent, because like you say, we realize what a good deal it is.
You
I
know
mean,
when they
that's
changed
not-
the rates last?
It's been a long time.
We think, we're not sure, but we think it's possibly 1991.
It might have
That's
been.
25 years ago.
Well, we go 960, not in market.
So, I mean, that's certainly one of the variables we can work
Yeah.
on,
And
right? You know?
I mean, that's,
How many state parks require people to come by appointment?
None. One.
This one? Yeah, okay. I just-
Now, we have state natural areas where the public rarely goes into, and these are places where we specifically have acquired property that we therefore ecological preservation as opposed to public use. I mean, our 3-point mission is conservation, recreation, and education. And so, you know, we've had questions about programs, we've had questions about recreation. That's our mission, all three of those. It's not, so we're trying just to balance different interests. You had your hand up, sir.
Yeah. If we get to the goal of 100% rental, that would still only be a cabin income of roughly $40,000 a year.
You got it.
So that alone isn't going to solve the equation.
Progress, those clearly shows progress, right?
Right.
You know,
And it would bring the
things happen
visitation.
in Raleigh that the rest of us wouldn't believe. You know, I've been in state government
That's
about
why
3
we
years,
do
and it's
it.
just been, it's quite an education. And, you know, there were a number of parks that were slated for closure. This was one. I remember. So we don't want that, I don't think anybody in this room wants that to happen. I think we can all disagree on that. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out ways to show the legislators that we're working on making the equation better. Now, it's not gonna equal, please, I hope if you get anything out of this, there are two things you should get out of it. One is, I don't expect to ever break even here. And the second thing is, nothing's gonna happen anytime soon. So those, if nothing else, those are the two things I can definitely tell you. Everything else is up for discussion.
I don't really know how you would increase the occupancy, especially up in Epcot.
What if you were to
But
Yeah,
we
that's
have
every out
heat,
heat.
air, or heat anyway.
Heat, yeah, yeah,
Because wintertime is what
Right.
we're talking about.
yeah, absolutely, and,
Summertime is cold,
yeah, it is, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think last year we had
Because
1 week.
until you get kids out of school, and, because you're not gonna get a bunch of adults to come over here for a week, you can forget that.
Well, you're right. And so one of the alternatives that's worth discussing is, what if we didn't build a contact station, but we put all that money into renovating Ipecac so it could be
But
all
even if you
airplanes?
put heat and air in there, how you gonna get people here?
Well, believe me, if we can market that, we can market that, and say, we have heat and air at Singletary Lake. It's not gonna help us in the summer, like you said, but it would help us in the other seasons.
Well, it would, and if you can remember, and I think you probably can, how crazy it was at one time when we were trying to get a week that was a cooler week.
Yeah.
And we, at one time, if you remember,
I was not thinking
But-
of stories.
people would come here and spend the night trying to be the first ones here so that we could get a comfortable week.
Sure.
And even now, you have to send in a request and hope you can get it. And pray and pray and pray. But at the same time, I think there's a lot more people that would come if they knew they could get an air-conditioned cabin. I know there is. I know that you would be booked a whole lot right on into August and September.
We
Yeah,
have
take it
water
in.
facility too, because we rent motel rooms for people that have to have air.
They have asthma
Yeah,
problems,
We
have
rent
other
for
problems.
several.
So at the very least, it would make you more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we would have more occupancy and more people paying to come in, because they stay at the motel.
Yeah.
And then too, this park there was an article in some paper somewhere that this park has, increased by 70%.
Yes, it went from, I think it was around 13,000, 22,000. The median park in the system is 267,000. We have 6 parks over 1 million, and we have 2 more that are about 900,000. So, yes, it is a lot, but you're dealing with a very small base.
Right.
And plus you got 77 acres that people can walk on here.
That's right.
Like Umstead.
Well, it's not even that, really.
It's Umstead.
Because if you look at that picture,
The biggest part of it is you can't walk on.
well, at least
You can't hike
people
across
don't.
You
that
can't walk in much of the other part of it either, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So how much publicity is done now for Singletary Lake?
Well, why would we do any?
It's word of mouth.
So the comparison though. to
Our
the other
publicity is
parks,
negative publicity because our website literally says,
Don't come here.
don't come here.
Are the gates closed?
Not quite like that. Not quite that way, but I think you understand. What is the exact wording?
It says public access is restricted, please contact the park office.
Yes.
But that.
Restricted, actually it says restricted big group campsite use.
I'm sorry.
It says restricted.
Hold on.
That alone can be publicized and billed as an asset to this park because it's different from other parks.
Exactly.
But if I have 2 parks that are costing $320,000 to operate, and one is restricted and one is not, that's the issue that we have.
But that's what I'm saying though, you publicize it to those that want to come to this kind of controlled environment. And the other parks that are getting so much more access, most of them, I'd be willing to bet you, has got much more publicity going on in some fashion, whether it's for nature or whatever. So, I mean, if you incorporate your nature and really hone in on the fact that it's controlled environment with today's world especially.
But again, I want everybody to make sure you understand. We don't have problems for predation and drug dealing and all that is in all of those other parks. I don't want you to feel like this is, that this is happening elsewhere. It's not. Now, your concerns are real, and I do understand that, but
I work in the sheriff's office in Columbus County, and a lot of my deputies will even tell me, we don't have this kind of problem here or there, but you talk to other people and it's out there. So it's just a matter of it hasn't actually crept in yet, but it's out there and inevitably it's going to get here. So, you know, it's a matter of whether you want to plan for, you know, prevention, or just wait till it happens and respond to it.
But don't I have to worry about that everywhere?
Let's just say,
No, I'm very simple. I'm a parent. I understand, nobody wants things happening to their children. But we have group camps and campsites and cabs all over the state that we don't have this issue.
Well, and one other thing to remember here is that the exclusive use of this camp is a perception. If somebody walks in here and they want to go to the shoreline or go to the pier or go anywhere else, we really can't run them out.
You can't run them out.
Because this is a state property. This is a public property, paid for by state funds, developed by state funds, and for the use of the people of North Carolina.
So the fact that we pay a rental fee for the use of the property means that we don't have children.
It means you
pay
have
rental
the
fee for
camps.
cabins.
It means you have the cabins and the camps.
So why then do people have to make an appointment to come? If it's open, why does your site require?
We're trying to accommodate y'all. I mean, I'm not saying that the gate's open, that it's gonna be open, but when somebody walks in, this park is on a portion of the Mountain Sea Trail called the Crescent Loop, Carolina Crescent Trail, excuse me.
Carolina Trail.
But those folks can walk through this park anytime because it's on that trail. Now, granted, those folks aren't the folks you're talking about. They're not the ones that, you know, are.
Honestly, I'm not, my
But,
concern is not pedophiles.
but
I
I
know that's
just,
possible, but
I
that's
just
not
wanna
my
make
concern.
sure
Like,
y'all understand that
Yeah.
it's not exactly the exclusive use that you think it is right now.
Well, sure. It just seems like maybe you're publicizing it that it is, like through the website and everything, and it's really
Well,
not.
it's because it's clear that the current users don't want thousands of people walking through, right?
Yeah.
It's an accommodation to them.
you know, we delivered Southeast to North Carolina Magazine, and there's a way that you can run 2 or 3 pages in that magazine free, and it say, you know, this group camp is located, and it gives the cabins and pictures and a whole article about it, and you get free advertisement that goes all over Southeast of North Carolina. And that's something that could be done that would help in the getting the word out, because really, to let people know there is a place they can go, that they recognize this place and the historical value of it. Also, it excites people when they say, well, you know, we could take care of 30 people down this road here, and we could take, and them know that this camp is open in the winter time. You can have reservations for winter months. All winter long, Camp Loblolly is open. But people actually, public does not know that. And they could know that, and they could get this thing run for nothing.
Well, now that is on our we're trying to get it on our central reservation system. It's not quite there yet. But now that will increase some of the advertisements you're talking about. When it gets on the CRS system, you know, you're gonna have more people looking at it just because we've got more people going on there to look for campsites. And a lot of times they'll be clicking through. It's just like all of us when we go on the internet. We're clicking on one thing, we end up somewhere else. Well, they're gonna be clicking on a regular campsite, and they're gonna say, hey, I could put 30 people and 42 people in this camp over here. I could have my buddies come in or whoever, because we do not limit the groups. Kristen can tell you we've had all kinds of groups in here. Y'all probably seen some remnants of all kinds of groups that have been in here.
Rent both camps.
I thought it said
but-
non-profits,
Oh, no.
someplace, didn't it say
It
non-profits?
says nonprofit, originally, yeah, and organized groups is really the kind of, as times have kind of, you know, evolved and all that with, you know, public, you know, us, we can't really say, well, your group's like.
Could be a family reunion.
So by saying organized groups, it kind of, it doesn't give that, you know, you have to only be this or only be that. So we say organized, but typically the majority are nonprofit groups.
But if
An
you
organized group is somebody who's just willing to
Pull it all together.
well,
That's right.
and if you can get 42 people to agree on where to go to, that's an
It's
organized.
a 100.
Another situation we have to check out, and we have to make sure there's no trash from the pier all the way back. Now, if the public's here, how are we gonna be responsible for cleanup when we leave?
Well, how do you, let me ask you a question.
Now it's lease.
Yeah, and thank you for doing that. You know, when you leave, you should leave it in better, you know.
We always do.
What we always say, the best guys leave in better condition than when you found it, right? And so, Kristen, help me out with this, because what is the requirement? Are they responsible for their camp, or are they responsible for the whole park?
They're responsible for whichever camps they have rented, and then we also hold them responsible for the pier area, the trash area. So if there's any litter on the ground or trash.
You have two groups in there. How do you deal with it?
We schedule when their checkout time is, and we'll, if Live Volley's checking out first, we'll go to Live Volley first, and we'll go check the lake. And I've never really had a situation where there was a full-out argument over who trashed in there.
So clearly, if the situation changed, we have to come up with a different.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
As Mike said, though, nothing's gonna happen overnight.
Oh, yeah.
Because even as bad as we would want something to happen, in some places, it just can't happen overnight.
Let's turn it over to the government completely, and it won't never happen.
Do what?
Well, it is turned over to the government.
It won't never happen.
We are the government. But I do understand what you're saying.
We could deadlock and let them argue all night, and it won't never take place.
But we are years away before anything happens that affects the way certainly this summer, no change. Next summer, it's not gonna be any change. So you've got at least 2 years before anything happens.
Just so we're clear on some of the things that have come from the discussion tonight, one was at least heat in Ithaca was one of the things that we've heard. Air, if possible, we don't know how much that'll cost. And let me give you a little for instance here, just so you'll understand. When there's 10 buildings, and I assume that's cabins. Yeah. 10 cabins?
Yeah.
10 cabins, a mess hall, a couple other buildings in there, various buildings. But for us to air condition and heat those 10 buildings, we would have to have an engineer come in and tell us how to do it. Now, if that was on your property, what would you do? You'd call the air conditioning company up and say, hey, I need some air conditioning in this building. They'd come out and they'd say, oh, this is what we'll put in. And you'd say yes or no, right? But just so you know how this works, we will, if we do this, go this route, we'll have to get an engineer to come in, tell us exactly, measure the cabin, figure out how many BTUs it'll take, figure out how much electricity it's going to take to run it. So there's a lot of engineering that has to be done on the front end. We have to have a designer, and then we'll have to contract that project out.
That's why it says a year and a year.
Right.
Plus, you're gonna have to do all that and not mess with the historical aesthetics of that.
Right, exactly. So that's not, that can be done.
And here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with this. Here's where I'm getting to with this. If we do alter this project, $575,000 with the state will not go as far as you think. So if we don't quite get everything you've talked about tonight, that's why. It's not because we don't want to do whatever we feel is needed or feel is wanted, but it's because sometimes, or all the time, when a project has to go through the state process, it does end up costing more.
We are not trying to take anything away. We're trying to add something. And it's hard on 77 acres. I first want to say that. But we want to keep the park open too. And I have to plan for the long term, not just for this session of the legislature. I got to plan, because, I want this park to be open 100 years from now.
Thank you.
Right? We all do, I think. And so we have to figure out ways to manage it in a way that will be acceptable to the people that determine our budgets.
Can we take some of the money and kind of refurbish the appliances in the mess hall?
Perhaps.
And maybe the walk-ins, the children. I've been in there a bunch of times.
You're not chilling?
It's 60 degrees in there. I'm trying to keep the milk and all that kind of stuff.
So those things would be in lieu of, instead of the building you were talking
Instead of
about?
the contact station, if that's where we ended up.
So that would mean that there would be real no contact station for day visitors.
It'd just be whatever we have now, which is right here in the maintenance yard, the park box.
That contact center wouldn't be moving, it wouldn't be moving maintenance and anything down there, would it? It's just,
No, we just stay where we are.
office and,
Yeah, maybe we paint that. And it's-
yeah, just move the superintendent's office.
Now, in order for us to change the project, you know, and I don't want you to think that I can just say this, because it's state government. And so we will have to get permission from either or both of the Office of Budget Management or the General Assembly. I think it's just going to be the first one. Now, this is not the only one we may change, so that's okay, because you know, situations change over time, and this bond was many years in the coming, and so we had to come up with these lists. So we, you know, this won't be the only one. So I don't want you to feel like we have to move heaven and earth to do that, but we do have to gain permission.
Well, I think what I've heard and what we feel, one of the major issues that we have, and I feel like that she's expressed this as well, is that the traffic coming in, with our children feeling free now, they're used to just going from one cabin to the other, or one camp to the other, playing out here, or whatever, we'd have to refigure what we're doing because of the safety involved. And whether it's, you know, your vehicles or public vehicles coming in. And then you've got the idea that you've got an adult that goes down to the lake and our kids say, oh, adults go so we can go. Whereas that's one of the things.
But they can do that now.
What we drill in there, we
They can
cannot.
walk in from the road and they can go down to that pier today. And you can't do anything about it because we own it. We collect it. It's not private property.
Well, we're just not gonna tell them.
Yes, and that's pretty much the way we've operated, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
No, I get that. But you know, I do worry about that situation because, you know, some groups can come say, you know, this is ours just as much as it's theirs.
Well, our
Not
main
the
issue-
camps, not the camps, but the rest of the park. They could argue, it's our park too, and we have every right to be there. And they, you know, that's one of the eventualities I have to think about. Because what would we do? I don't want Kristen, you know, pushing them out because, you know, it is their park. That's the problem.
That's why.
Because
we
it's
think
not private property, it's
That's
public.
why we think it would be a lot better if the facility was outside this gate,
What if we didn't have a facility?
and then let the day people go over this way, and if they want to come through here, then they have to get permission from, or a escort from the rangers.
Or if you
But
have
if
your
you told them they had to stay over here and we're
No,
single.
that's just where they would come in at.
Okay, okay.
That's
So,
just where they would check in at, so
Okay.
everybody would know they're here. The campers would know that, you know, they could see cars here and know that there are other people here, because they can look right across there and see that there'll be other cars.
but you know, if you're coming to Singletary Lake State Park, what do you want to see?
What do you want to see?
The
A
lake,
lake.
absolutely.
That's right.
Well, there could be a path put down there, they can
But
just
you're,
walk
like
down
you said,
there,
put another pier in.
Maybe. Now, it's gonna be, you know, I'm gonna have a lot easier time changing a project if I can show I'm gonna generate revenue from it. I can't generate revenue from here. I can generate revenue from renovating these things, right? That's certainly an option. But just building a pier is problematic.
Yeah.
Especially when you cut off half the weeks and say we're not gonna let anybody in, you know, so.
There are other parks that lose money, almost all of them do, but they're open to the public. We are not really that way here, and that's the problem.
When they have the center, like Jones's Lake has that visitor center.
They have a visitor center and the swim.
And they have programs in the center. They have people coming in and putting donations in their donation box.
That's right.
So they do earn money that way.
It's-
Not a lot, but.
It is not a lot.
And they do.
You have said it right.
And they have programs there like the Easter program, the
Easter eggs.
hunt.
Yeah.
And some of that brings in a little, to
Those programs, the Easter egg thing is free.
it's free, but I mean, the Friends Group does things to.
They do, and we appreciate it. Last year, Barbara, were you there at the Easter egg hunt?
I'm always there.
What was it, we had 4,000 eggs,
Easter bunny.
and they were 4,500, and they were gone in what, 2 minutes? Unbelievable, it's quite, look, if you don't have anything to do, which weekend are they doing it?
It's the 15th.
You don't have anything to do on the
The
15th?
Saturday.
Go to Jones Lake and watch the Easter egg hunt, because it is amazing. Oh, look at that.
There were hundreds of kids there too.
Hundreds of kids. Hundreds of kids. It's
One,
awesome.
And that's where you get your numbers for your cars.
Well, no, we get, that's some of the numbers, but it's, you know, it's a swim beach, and we get people there. You know.
One of the other things to remember about, and I'm not saying that the contact station is what's gonna be built, but the contact station in relationship to what's at Jones Lake, Jones Lake's about 6,000 square feet. This contact station is 2. Just about a third of the size of what's over at Jones Lake.
Well, in fact, one of the reasons why we thought we should put it here at one time is because the combination of this building,
Right.
and that kind of makes it seem like more of a business.
Just trying to make sure everybody's got all facts. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun last year, I can tell you that. So again, if you got nothing else to do, on the 15th of April, on Saturday, this is the best game in town, because it's so fast. Now, don't be late, because it's open.
12:03, it's done.
And we usually have the fire trucks there, and people from other agencies, the forestry, and that sort of. It's an interesting day.
We have the fire trucks, we have EMS, we have water rescue.
We had the crime lab there last year.
We have what?
The crime lab, the mobile
Yeah,
crime
crime
lab.
lab,
And also the
We have Smokey the Bear.
You have judges in this big mobile unit. It's fascinating. And they can put you in a room, the judge will take care of you right down there.
And they show the kids that, how to breathe into that thing to see if it's
Right.
drinking alcohol.
Honest to God, it is a great event, just because of all the beautiful children. It's a lot of fun.
But Jones Lake, they have a campground and it is away from the visitor center.
Right. That's right.
But they still
And that's
can
what
come and
we
ride the
use
lake and so forth, and the visitor
Rest of
center
all
at
us.
Jones's Lake.
Yep, we rent boats and all that sort of thing. We have the swim beach.
Right.
But that's not.
But it's away from.
And it's close to here. You know, there's really no reason why people can't go there, but we still own this as a state. Again, nothing anytime soon. We're trying to gather input. This is an informal gathering. I really do appreciate everybody coming and giving us your opinions. They're valuable. And so thank you for doing that. Did you have another question? Look like you were trying.
I got a nervous squeak.
Yeah, me too. All right. Is there anything else I can talk to you about?
I would like to thank you for coming down and explaining some of this stuff to us, and
A day in a state park and even an evening in a state park is better than a worst day in a state park is better than the best day in office in Raleigh. Thank you all for coming.
thank you.
Thank y'all for coming.